This conference will now be recorded.
Grand day and welcome to Transparency. I am Ta, owner and founder of Chrysalis Crystal Oil, where Black women come together to strengthen, heal, and transform and get compassionate understanding to make the world a better place and our personal lives a better place by starting with us first and taking self accountability. So, today I wanted to discuss addiction and obsessive personality. As a person who could be obsessive, very obsessive, um, in the past, dealing with relationships, addictive, not to any drugs, but to food, excessive indulgence at one point in time. So, first and foremost, when it comes to healthy addictions like food, recommend moderation, learn discipline, learn what it stems from. Typically, when we have an addiction, sometimes it's using to be a filler in a space for something we are choosing not to heal or to just soothe us for that little inkling and moment, but it's never long term. It always comes back once the food's over, once the hit is over, once this is over, once all of this. So we have to find what is it within ourselves that we have to go to something else to try to soothe pain, mental pain, and emotional pain. Because it never stops until you face it and understand that this is something that you need to heal from, right? And then, if where does it stem from? Was your relatives? Did you have relatives that had addictions, and so it's just been an influence? Or did it come from feeling like you had no place to go, or really having no place to go, where the relatives you counted on the most put you out on the street with nothing, took everything? Just really extreme scenarios that may have caused you to feel like it was okay to do drugs in order to block out your current situation. And you couldn't find the guidance that you seek, or the motivation, or the wherewithal to be strong enough to get through it without an inhibitor, right? So I used to also have an addiction to cigarettes. My addiction to cigarettes came from anxiety. I didn't know how to deal with anxiety. Being around my one of my relatives, the way this person dealt with anxiety was through cigarettes. So that's what I did. However, other addictions I told myself I would never have, and so I don't. But then you have people who, like a really good relative, die and just get the cold shoulder, and that can lead them to drugs. The family could put them out, and the relative could have left them nothing, right? Or didn't even have nothing to leave. So the closest person that you thought, the only person you could ever trust, is now gone, and you feel like you now have nobody in the world because you can't speak to them anymore, right? And this is that person you can go to with anything compared to anybody you ever speak to. Can lead to drugs, especially if your lifestyle's falling apart. Let's say you lose your job, or you know something else happens too. Not only do you lose this person, you feel like you can't make it through this situation without this person being physically alive and guiding you, right? And so there's just so many different scenarios you can come up with that could lead somebody to drugs. Okay. And most importantly, it starts within themselves. They feel like they don't have inside, not anything to do with outside. There's nothing inside. Now, there are people who just genuinely like drugs. That's their life. That's something they enjoy just being addicted to. They'll never see a problem. When they're sober, they're like, I enjoy doing drugs. That's why I do them. Whenever they're sober, I do them because I enjoy them, right? So, but most of the time, you'll find more people on drugs who have trauma or just really have a hard time mentally handling life. So when it comes down to it, you find out a lot of people when they finally do get themselves sober that they were just hiding pain, emotional pain, and traumas, right? And just so many things they went through. And some people don't make it out of the drugs. Some people don't. Some people die. Some people don't get to live to tell their tale. And it's so important because this is very prevalent in our communities. Our mothers, our fathers, even us sometimes. Me, never. But speaking in general. So just consider the fact. Consider the fact that if you have a relative like this, consider the fact of they need someone. It's not an excuse. It's nothing like that. What they choose to do is what they choose to do. You can't make excuses. And then drugs is hard to be better, to see better, to feel better, to know better. Okay? Drugs can really shroud your train of thought. You get some people become thieves and just all this crazy stuff, owing dealers, etc., etc. They put themselves in spiritual debt, right? Consider these people not as just some junkie or some fiend. Consider these people as just lost, hurt, and hopeless. And there's no way they can see straight without being cleaned. Okay? They can't see straight. Does that mean you have to give them your every last whim of energy in order to show them that you care? No. But you do what you can, right? So, as a person who has been addicted to food and addicted to cigarettes, and I noticed that it really stemmed from the fact that I didn't feel like I was enough, or it didn't matter how I look, but I do care. Ironically, right? So I then had to understand also, I had to change my perspective. I had to be more positive towards my body, just in thought. And for people on drugs, it's hard. A good thought is really hard to draw once you are ensued in the addictions you can't get out of, right? You can, but it's really hard without extreme withdrawal symptoms. So I also noticed like food was like good for like not feeling abandoned if I felt really lonely. Or sometimes I would use foods so I wouldn't feel like I'm some sex addict or um, you know, just my personal take on my when I had my food addiction and all of this other in cigarettes addictions, it was not just for anxiety, it was also for like coping with my sexual energy, not being, I don't want to be some hoe is what I thought. So I ate to suppress my sexual appetite. But then I was like, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. It's how you do it and how much you do it. It's all about balance. Okay. And so personally, I was taught that, you know, sex was okay in a really negative way. So I more so ran away from it because of, molestation and rape. I like ran from it, but at the same time ran to it. But both reasons were wrong. They weren't for the right reasons. When I overindulged, it was always with a partner I had been with, not just some random person. It's somebody I've been with. So I'm not gonna say none of your business on that part, but I can overindulge with my significant others, and they'll be like, I don't want to tone it down, and but at the same time, I did have moments with my significant others where I was like, no, I don't want to, and was still forced to. So it was just so many negative connotations that had built up around my sexual urges that I began to, be disgusted with myself, especially after rape and molestation. I felt very disgusted. My dignity was not there. My self-esteem very low. Just really was really down on myself about being having, hormones, and it was always just really hard. So how did I get through it, right? How do I get through it? How did I get through it? I started to accept it's okay to be to have hormones. Like it's okay. Moderation. Food too, moderation. Instead of going to food, I drink some water or eat some or if I do eat food, I try to eat some fruit or some vegetables. Or I meditate on the problem. Why is my anxiety like this, right? What's going on? I quit smoking cigarettes 2 years ago. But when I quit smoking cigarettes, it was more so out of a promise that I made to myself and a significant other at the time that I'm happy that I made because I did really want to quit and I'm glad I did. But I then noticed as soon as I quit cigarettes that I was using it as a coping mechanism for my anxiety and my anger, right? So, but sometimes I felt like cigarettes made me more angry. But, oh, excuse me. But now I eat more moderately. I all of these things because I always ask myself the question when my anxiety starts to pick up is what's wrong? What are we not facing? What is being brought to the forefront here, right? What what is it? What's the problem? And sometimes I notice because of my addiction to put food in my mouth and my addiction of having a cigarette in my mouth, guess what happened? I didn't speak up enough. My throat chakra was closed, right? It was either I overspoke or I didn't speak enough. Now I'm learning to balance. and not, waiting until way down the line to say something, So that's just my experience on my own personal addictions that I grew out of, and just addictions in general. I just wanted to share. And just be understanding to yourself. Be compassionate to yourself. You can get through whatever addiction you may have. Whatever. There's people who have addiction to exercise. There is people who have an addiction to work, all to just to avoid sitting alone and feeling lonely, or hearing the past come up in their mind that may trigger them very negatively emotionally. So there's a lot of different types of addictions, and there's even addiction to not getting enough rest. Like, some people aren't insomniacs, but they make themselves an insomniac because they always feel like they're not doing enough, or they're not enough. So they just keep doing. They may be better in their lives, but they're not getting enough rest. Okay. And then you have people who have an addiction to sleep, so they don't have to cope with life sleeping. There's so many forms of addiction. So, um, trying to think. Did I have an addiction to sleep? Did I? No. In between. Sometimes I can have an addiction to overworking. Sometimes I can have an addiction to sleeping. Not really. Not really. I try to balance. I try to find my balance. However, some days I do. I work, and then I rest. But I find my balance too. I don't let myself get overworked anymore. I remember the last time I overexerted myself, and I tried to figure out what was wrong, and I just cried. Like, I just noticed that I just collected too much energy and I hadn't been releasing enough. So I was just like, oh yeah, I went down. But yeah, so that's my story on addictions and how I grew out of them and stuff. And as you see, I just basically told you I still got an addiction to work. So, um, welcome, Parisha. You are welcome to share what kind of addiction you may have had before and how you've changed it. And I hope your day has been well.
Hello, you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. I'm doing good. How you doing today?
I'm good. Take it in one day at a time.
I listen to a lot of
Hmm.
stuff. I say you can have addiction to a lot of stuff. I don't have
Yeah.
addiction to
Yes, ma'am.
partying.
Hmm.
I used to have addiction to clubbing when I was younger.
Oh
I
yeah.
club.
Shopaholic.
I was a clubber.
You said clothes, right?
Um, I had addiction to clothes, clubbing, shoes, hair,
Mm-hmm.
to spending
Nails.
money. Yep. Let's say who I work
Oh,
for.
just had an addiction to spending. Just gotta spend.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was young. I used to have clothes and shoes just sitting in the closet that I ain't never wear. And my daddy had to talk to me about that
Mm-hmm.
when I was young. So I kind of worked on that when I was younger.
That's good. Mm-hmm. I'm still young. I've never
I'm
really,
still young, but
huh?
And I'm kind of still young, but I ain't. I don't do all that.
Yeah, right. I did have an addiction to clothes. I just it's balanced though. Like I'll at least make sure I wore everything that I got before I go buy some new ones. Most of the time, I do my best to make sure that I wore everything. And sometimes, like if an item fade, it's trash, or if I grow out of it, I make sure I trash it. Um, if I just know I'm not gonna wear it that much, I'll give it away something. But if it's like worn out, trash.
Yeah.
Shoes, I couldn't be a shoeholic because my feet too big. So
I don't mean
I
nothing.
can't really find shoes my size.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was the shoe hauler with the heels until I hurt myself and I couldn't wear heels no more.
Oh no. Yeah. That'll do
I
it.
remember wore heels outside.
What kind were you wearing? Stilettos, pumps, what?
Still, all of them. Like, they had to be 6 inch belt. That
Hmm.
was my clubbing shoes. The clear heels. Yeah, that was
Oh
me.
yeah, I seen those.
The light up and all that. Yeah, that was me.
Okay, go ahead. Like right now, I don't really. I got two pairs of heels that I got. I'm a sandal wearer. I love sandals, particularly the hiking kind. I got a couple of regular fluffs, no, but I typically like my sandals that cup the back of my feet. Cause if I gotta run,
Me too.
you know, yeah, I wear a size 11, 10 and a half, 11, so it don't it don't work out in every store. I'm trying to think. Never been a jewelry person either. I know I used to get my nails done, but that was still never that often. And me now, I do them more so at home than I do, go out and do them. But even at home, I barely do them because I don't know if you heard, but the underneath your nails get yellow if you paint them too much. They need sunlight.
I don't polish them.
Yeah, I
I like
typically.
24/7.
Hmm.
I don't like nails. They mess up my nails.
Yeah, see my nails, they grow. You see, I gotta take this nail polish off, but you see, I let my nails grow. I try to keep them at a certain length, but I barely do anything with them. Oh yes, I had an addictive nail biting habit. When I stopped smoking cigarettes, I started to excessively bite my nails out of anxiety. So I've been really working on my tactics with my anxiety, like catching all of my knickknacks that I do out of
Hmm.
extreme amount of anxiety. And it's hard. I don't catch myself every time, but when I do, I'm like, no. So it's like futile, futile, futile. It's becoming less and less and less. But in the beginning, I hit it hard. All my nails be gone in a second, and I won't even be paying attention. Now, as soon as I bite one nail, I'm like, all I do is just get a little bite, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that no more. What's
Yeah.
going on? Immediately start digging, playing with my hands, stuff like that. Just finding all of them little traits that my anxiety hides under. And I also notice like it picks up the most when somebody is disrespectful to me or whatever the case may be, just really negative towards me, and I don't say nothing right away, I know it picks up the most. So I'd be like, okay, I gotta figure this out. Either I gotta get away from this person or I need to speak up. Which I just went through something like that. I ain't speak up right away, so when I finally spoke up, it didn't come out necessarily right until the end.
Might as well
Gotta,
never come out right.
mm,
Even though I try to practice it, I still go off on it.
mm-hmm.
I gotta apologize to them.
And if I know I need to take a sacred pause before I respond, I'll be like, okay. But the second I notice this person not hear me, I give up. Cause I'm only coming at you like this. I'll come at you more like how we talking right now before I ever start yelling. If I yell, if I have to yell for you to hear me, which would probably be only one time, that's when I know I'm through. I'm through with you. I'm through with you. Cause I tried to talk to you too many times like this for you to be yelling at me
Mm-hmm.
when I'm trying to show you that's not how you talk to me, because that's not how I'm talking to you. And then now I have to yell, and now you want to talk like this? Oh, I'm done with you. I call it quits. You know, you can only waste your breath so many times on people who just willing to not hear you. That's how I see it. And you don't ever, ever, ever you don't ever lower yourself as them, as much as them.
To that level.
Only one, if it got to take you one time, if it takes you, if you have to go that low one time and they still don't hear you, we through. We through. I met you at your level, and then you tried to meet me at the level I initially gave you an opportunity to over more than 5 times. No, I just noticed that some people just got an addiction of yelling too.
Yeah.
They don't know how to talk to people.
Exactly.
Like, I had to learn that. Like, some people just like to yell. They like to they like to be right. They like to be in control. They like to be, I had to they like to be petty. They like to, just chastise people. They like to There's so many different types of addictions because people just find anything to try to get the weight off of their backs.
You sound like somebody I know right now. That's just how
Hmm.
they is. So I guess that's what's wrong with them. Exactly.
Hmm. That's my mama. Because she heard you. I'm sure she did. Um, just it's so I just had that experience. I was living with a relative, and this person just didn't want to hear me. I hear this person, but this person did not want to hear me because this person felt like because they were older than me that they could just treat me on any kind of way just because they helped me, and I respected this person to a point. You know, I kept giving this person respect. Like, hey, I get it. Can you come to me like an adult and not talk to me like I'm your child? Time and time again, I finally tried to tell this person, look, if you have a problem with me, don't speak to me like your child. Why does it take me to yell at you for you to calm down and try to talk to me like an adult? I don't want to have to yell at you.
This is a me.
I don't want to I don't want to feel like that I have to be dominance over you for you to listen to me or even tone your voice down talking to me because you probably, I noticed the person still wasn't hearing me. The person, I then found out this person was also intimidated by me because this person said they felt like they had to bow to me, but then was, and my problem, yeah, not the jacket though. Mm. So time and time again, I'm trying to express to this person like, hey, I understand where you're coming from. Just don't come at me like this about it. And some of the things didn't make sense to me, so I didn't listen. But in the first month I lived with this person, I listened, respected, did everything. However, I was also, it's a whole background. I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but the person was just like, but then I found out this person was addicted to drugs, and then I said, oh, that's why I'm never gonna get through. I'm never gonna get through to this person. And I also see that this person may be jealous of me because this person stated, I look up to you. And this person also kept doing the wishy-washy thing. Say something about what I was doing, then say no, then say it wasn't wrong. Then first said it was wrong and came at me wrong too about it. Then said it wasn't wrong when I tried to express to this person while I'm doing this. And then it wasn't no problem no more. But just kept finding things to try to pick at. And this person was doing it because they helped me. They felt that they could just talk to me or any kind of way. And I was like trying to express, like, I'ma still be who I am. I respect where you're coming from, but I feel like I'm disrespecting me to listen to you. Me contributing to a household that I don't pay rent for. Me not contributing to a house that I don't pay rent for is disrespectful to me. Because that is my act of gratitude. And to tell me that I can't practice an act of gratitude is disrespectful to me, especially when I have been welcome to act on the way I act out of gratitude. So it just really just blew me away. Just blew me away. Glad I'm not around this person anymore. Not only that, I couldn't burn my sage. I couldn't burn my incense. So now I'm in a space where I can burn my sage. I can burn my incense. Ain't nobody bothering me and pestering me about what I'm doing. And my acts of gratitude that I do around the house because I don't pay rent is yes, do it, please. I need the help. It's not like, by the way, the house, this particular relative who invited me to stay at this particular place wasn't even the person who ran the house nor paid the rent either. So we both in the same boat, but I'm the only one practicing acts of gratitude. So, and I'm not trying to put this person down. I'm just saying what is. And so that also didn't sit right with me. But anyways, I just noticed in that moment that, this person is not only addicted to drugs, this person is addicted to the yelling and addicted to control. So I tapped out. I tapped out entirely. So I was like, okay, I'm through. I'm through with this person entirely. And then, but I'm just glad I made it out that situation. Whew. And doing so much better. Doing so much better, so much freer, so much more acceptance for what I do. So, you know, that's another thing. Actions speak louder than words, man. Actions speak louder than words.
Yes, it do.
That person, this person kept saying, "Oh, I care about you," but actions did not state nothing. And I struggle. That's what I struggle with the most. I'm like, your actions really say that you want to see me downfall because you see I'm doing better than you, but I'm gonna mind my business. I'm gonna mind my business. Excuse me.
Now you
But
know drug addicts all about money. They looking for
mm,
money to go in their pocket so they can fuel their addiction without people knowing.
hmm
They probably hiding their addiction too.
yeah, it's crazy.
And they all act the same. They always want to control something, always arguing.
hmm
Just arguing for those reasons. Like it's fuel. Like that's the only thing keep them going.
hmm The drain. They need energy vampires.
Mm-hmm. You come to get
hmm
delivered, come get delivered.
So I'm glad a space opened up for me to be at around the time it started to progressively get worse with this person because I really wasn't gonna have no place to stay, but it ended up working out. But I was just like, man, I was like, wow. Because I had never lived with this relative before. This relative, we didn't even grow up together. Like, I barely knew this person. And
Mm.
so this person was like a stranger to me. Is and that was the biggest thing. Like, this person wasn't getting. I don't know you. I mean, yeah, we shared we I literally moved in, we slept in the same bed, but but because you're older than me and you allowed me to have you had opened up, had your friend, welcome me into their home, still didn't mean you could just treat me any kind of way. And that and what I was trying to get that person to understand was I don't know you and you don't open up to me. So when you come at me sideways when you talking to me, I'm really not about to have it. And I kept trying to explain this part. I said if you come at me differently, then you would get more respect from me,
Yeah.
and I already told this person I respect what you say. It's about how you coming at me. Person goes, "Oh, I know I need to work on it," but I don't see you working on it because every chance you get, you doing the same thing. So that kind of takes me out too. I'm like, okay, so every opportunity you get, you're not gonna try to work on yourself. Okay, cool. All right, cool. And like little moments that me and this person, it just didn't seem genuine. It just, like when there was finally a calm conversation, it just the heart energy just wasn't there. It just didn't seem,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what, as an empath, I know. So I'm like, okay, this don't seem genuine. It just feels old and played out. But anyways, enough of that. But it's crazy. Like through this scenario, absolutely, I learned my faults. However, I also noticed in more ways than one that I wasn't wrong. So I was just like, man, okay, this is just this person. At this point, I just accepted, this person has inner problems. And because I'm the closest person to them, I'm the back burner for it, so I just had to accept that and let that go. This person just has some things within themselves and they not willing to work through it. So they gonna try to use you as their go-to. Ain't nothing you could do about that. But ignore it. Mind your business. Mind your business. And love them from a distance.
Yeah.
But that's my little extra spin on addiction that I just had to experience. I'm trying to think. Hmm. Yeah. I'm in a better space now. Still working. I'm so happy my work online. It makes it so much easier. If you gotta move something, right? If you gotta move or something, you like, it's okay. I still got all of my electronics. We good. Work
Yeah.
didn't go no, right? And work
Long as I
wasn't
don't take the
compromised.
electronics.
Huh?
Long as I don't take the electronics, huh?
Hmm. But yeah, just let people do what they do. Mind your business. If you know you're not wrong and in your heart of hearts you ain't wrong, you just gotta walk away.
Yep.
And somebody and what other people had to tell me about the situation was like this person was just set in their ways. And I was like, okay, that's what I thought. Still ain't no excuse for somebody who says every day I learn. So, but it is what it is. I'm a mind my business, like I said. Mind my business. But I don't make excuses for nobody. I'm learning to stop making excuses for myself. I really don't make excuses for myself. Sometimes I do though, and I like when somebody be like, don't do that. Don't be that. You already know you don't want to be that way, so we not having it in this conversation. I'm like, cool, thank you, bro, or thank you, sis, thank you, put me on my stuff. Just if we don't hold people accountable for what they do and they say, this world will never change. Because they'll keep going about their day doing that same thing over and 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 over to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and next. And then they trying to figure out why life ain't working. Because nobody said nothing. Nobody said nothing. And at that point, when you also had that conversation, you're gonna be like, did they say something? Let me look back. And if they did say something, then that says you didn't listen then. You know? Whew. That's all I got to say on addiction today. Yep, I said gots. That's all I got to say on addiction. Hmm. I'm probing my mind if there's anything else. Nope. Now, you said I sound like your mother-in-law. Were you saying your mother-in-law says the same thing or something you go through it with her? If you can hear me.
No, you were sounding like the person I know.
Oh,
He
okay.
always loud and always judging people, and he just talk loud. Period. Always got to be loud. Always got something to say about what somebody else doing, regardless good or bad.
Mind your
Everything
business.
everybody do is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, he had came and stayed to help with me when I had failed and I had hit my head. I passed out. He so
Mm-hmm.
called folks came and stayed to help. Most people
Mm-hmm.
I get in see once you start moving around, oh they feeling better, they okay. They looking at then you need to take care of me. You gonna get up and cook. I just got out the hospital 2 days ago. I got a headache that's killing me. I had a headache for like a whole month straight.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked me to get up to cook for you 3 times a day? No, it don't work like that. You supposed to be here taking care of me. What is you doing? Instead of sitting on your butt talking shit to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, see. Mm.
And I got to the point I said, well, every time you somebody say they come to help, they just looking for a free ride. That's all they be looking for.
Yeah. Crazy, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. And so I'd rather get me a home health aide while I deal with other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there will never cease to be people like that, but we can reduce how much we allow them to be like that. The less people that condone people like that, then those people start to question why ain't nobody around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
And
somebody keep asking me, I
sometimes,
don't talk to them no
and
more.
sometimes they may never learn. They'll just be like, "Well, they left me. That's it." And chalk it up to that.
Okay.
And I ain't good
Unfortunately,
enough, whatever the case may be. When it's actually like, no, it wasn't that you wasn't good enough. There could have been a lot of good traits you had, but you let them bad traits take over you let the bad traits take the bulk of your experience.
mm-hmm. The problem is that
All light, you chose dark.
well, the problem is she was molested by her mama fiance. And to this day,
Mm.
her mama still always throw it in her face. You the reason why I never got married. Like I had to
Oh,
call the police and tell on this man once you went to the school and told, and he had to go to jail. So I ain't never get married. So to this day, her mama still always throwing it up in her face.
mm-mm. Yeah, gotta stop. No,
So,
gotta stop. Gotta stop talking to that mom for sure.
mm-hmm.
Hmm. Oh yeah, you're gonna have to find you a new mama. There's another mother out there. Trust and believe.
Nah,
My my dad's mom was like a mom to my mom more than her mom. So trust me, there's another mother out there who is willing
she
to
stay
show you
right there.
something if you just
Giving her
open your eyes.
everything, giving her everything she got.
It's hard, and you can't do nothing about it because no matter what, we always gonna love the person who gave birth to us more than anybody on this planet, and we can't change that. But you can reduce how much you put up with it,
Well, I'm glad I ain't have one of them mothers
speak
that
up,
tell me
or you can
I took
speak up.
care of you for 18. I'm glad I didn't have one of them mothers like that. I took care of you, so now it's time for you to take care of me until the day I die. It don't work like that. Once your kids, you supposed to, if you have kids, you raise them. When they get grown, you let them go.
Hmm. You supposed to want to let them go. All that hell they done put you through. I'm just playing. Some kids ain't that bad, but you're supposed to want to still let them go because you want to see them be great. You want to see them be better than what you did. See what they make out of themselves, and what they make out of themselves, kind of makes you proud of you. Like I did that. Like, I birthed that, but that person, did all the work, but I did some of that. And it makes you so proud of yourself. So when you let them go and be them and be great and, support them, you could truly be proud of what you did as a mother.
Not if you're a sorry one.
You should still be proud as a mother, even if one kid do turn out a little sour and sour one in the batch. You still got to be proud of yourself
Mm-hmm.
because you can't stop what they choose to do personally as an adult, if even if you told them and taught them the opposite. That's who they chose to be, you know, and you can't do nothing about that. And that's why one-on-one conversations with kids, and especially in their teenage years, is so important. So important. The reminders are so important. So important because when you hit a teenager, that's when you care more about your image and your personal interests are for yourself and your development. Like as a kid, it's easy to get you focused on doing this and that, having certain habits. But when it comes to mental focus as a teenager, that needs to be a consistent reminder. As a child, that's physical reminder. As an adult, that is as a young adult, that is mental focus that they need gained. That's cute. I like it. Just now. Mm. But yeah, just hmm yeah, it's just so important. Conversations are just so important. Eye to eye conversations, even in our relationships, it never stops. Eye to eye contacts, serious conversations are so important, so useful. And sometimes, even after having one, that person or you may not get it right. Whatever was talked about, whatever problem or situation was talked about, still might not get it right even after that. But keep reiterating, hey,
I got tired of talking to my daughter.
let them. And then after a certain amount of times, you be like, okay, this is just something you're gonna have to learn on your own, and that's okay. We can't save everybody from what they supposed to go through. We got to learn that they need to have they need we got to let them have room for their own experiences.
I'm too old for this.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel I'm too old for this.
Yeah. No, you're not too old. You just learn to accept that there's some things you can't teach them. But they'll learn as soon after they experience it. Like that's what Mama was talking about, or that's what Daddy was talking about, or that's what Grandma was talking about. That's what Grandpa was talking about. Boots better. You know, sometimes it just don't hit you till afterwards because maybe you was just supposed to learn about this person in your life, not just the experience. Maybe you needed to see that this person was actually truly no good. So you know what you need to be doing, and not what you're trying to do or what this person trying to get you to do. What you see what I'm saying? Sometimes those things that you can't teach them are the things that help them keep them on the path you wish for them to walk, that is better for themselves personally. So that's a very important thing I had to learn with significant others. because I am the obsessive type. No, you ain't going nowhere. You walk away from me, I'm walking right behind you. You're not going away from me. But as much as I wanted them to change and heal and learn with me, I couldn't change the fact that they didn't want to, or even if they said they want to, that the lessons that they learned weren't with me. That they were supposed to learn wasn't going to be with me. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that they weren't able, it doesn't mean that they weren't learning. It just means that they weren't able to learn with you there, whatever it is, right? So that I had to learn that that's a thing. It's this very serious thing. And the relationship will clash until you learn what you're just supposed to be learning as an experience with them. So it's pretty interesting and very very powerful once you get a hang of it. But don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. And I say that for everybody. Don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself just because you couldn't be able to teach that person. No, that lesson's still important because it was a lesson you had to go through. It didn't mean that lesson was important. It just means that this lesson won't be learned until it's actually an experience, right? And then sometimes and the experience is wisdom. Eventually it becomes wisdom once you truly learn from it, right? And learn to accept, move forward.
Yep. I was just saying to somebody, everything that happened happened for a reason. You don't know why
Always.
it happened, but you'll figure out one day. Don't
Absolutely. Mhm. And that's what I tell people. I was like, everything you're going through right now, you learning for a reason.
for a reason. It
And
makes you
and them
strong
slow
or
them
weaker.
slow stuck moments. What'd you say?
It'll make you stronger or weaker. But I always go
Hmm.
for the stronger.
Right. Always go for stronger. Hmm. I tell people, I said the moments where you feel stuck or you just feel like you just going through a lot. Look, I see it. One, the universe is showing you the people who ain't gonna be genuine when you get there, and they just gonna use you for what you got. And the universe trying to give you what you got without bad tethers trying to drain you of what good they trying to give you, right?
I want to
I
tell
see it
somebody
as
this.
that. Huh?
I want to tell somebody this the other day. My friend had asked me to take her to the store to give her some stones and stuff because she been
Mm,
going through it a lot and stuff. So she went and like soon as we was headed to the store, all kind of confusion started with her
mm,
mama and her brother over a picture she posted on Facebook. They just started a whole bunch of beating. And she been like, my
mm.
mama still going there to start with me again today. I just can't deal with her. And I want to say, once you start doing all this stuff and trying to get, like you say, you trying to get yourself together, get rid of all this negative energy, they gonna start showing themselves. And I know that's your
Yep.
mama, but you might have to step back from her.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
I want
Um.
to tell her that, but I was like, dang, she might not accept that. But she know me from back in the day. She always, because she told my husband when she first met him, if she tell you anything, she say anything to you, believe her, it gonna come true. And she know I tell you. When I was young, that's how I was. I see
Mm,
something, I tell you. First thing pop in my head, I tell you. And
mm,
they be like, how you know? How you know? And I'll be like, I just heard it. Ain't nobody ain't nothing like that.
mm-hmm.
Then some people don't take it right then. Then when it happen, they come back to you. So my husband do the same thing. Man, I should listen to you from the beginning, but I know sometimes you can't accept stuff when people say stuff about your family.
Right. You don't be wanting to hear it. Absolutely. Even your relationships.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So
Just
I
went
just
through that
stopped telling people.
relationship one. Something you just don't want to hear. You just gotta learn it then.
Yeah. Then they
And
come to me, I should listen to you. I would never went through all this. Nah, I'm good. Just listen.
no, it ain't I should have listened to you. No, I needed to learn this because obviously listening, I couldn't hear good enough. So here
Mm-hmm.
I am, but I'm making it
You
through.
had
That's
to go through that.
oh, run back.
Yep.
Oh, you, oh, you this. Oh, you know, it ain't looking back at the past no more. You making it through it. I was trying to teach you so you didn't have to go through it, but I guess you needed to see how strong you were. And I couldn't stop that, right? So that's how we motivate people out of them situations. It's like now you see how strong you are. You made it. You ain't get it, but now you get it. But look, you strong. You stronger now. You wiser now, right? And most importantly, you gonna be happier because now you know what ain't making you what's not gonna make you happy when you should be when you got your stuff together, right? And so many different things. And then the being hard on yourself stops almost or slows down because you're like, oh no, wait, I made that. I made it through that though, you know, and I'm here and I'm here and I made it, right? So no matter the lesson, is so important to just let go of. This is how I see it too. Words never fall on deaf ears. They fall on an unconscious mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the mind then becomes conscious, then it starts to process all of the lessons that was being taught to it or expressed to it. When I call it savory data. Just made this up on the spot. I call it savory data. Is you sometimes you could be giving wisdom to a person that may not need it in that moment, but once they come up to it, that moment, they're gonna know how to get through it because they had saved data that comes up that says, I know this situation now. So this is how I navigate through it. Okay, let's go. No matter the mental hardships and emotional hardships as they're getting through it, the reminder of wisdom that was given to them before they even before this even ensued is what's giving them the strength to gracefully move through it, even if they feel like it's ungraceful. They're gracefully moving through it, right? So that's that too. And I call it savory data because sometimes the wisdom you, like I said, the wisdom you give is won't be used until you get there.
Yep. All right.
Um, but that's all. That's all for me today. I think we hit up some very important keynotes that's going to be very good for YouTube. Um, for some people right now, especially transitioning into the new year. If you're going through that rock and it's getting ready to be a new year, you better let that new year sink in. That means new people, new experience. Quit trying to keep old people to go into something new. Look, old habits die old. We're not living in the same old no more, right? But that is it for today. Did you have anything else you wanted to add before we go?
No.
Okay. Anything you wanted to say?
Let me see that.
Hmm.
No, no, I was sitting outside, so I said, "Yeah, the wind blowing
Mm.
hot, hot day."
Hmm. What'd you say? The last part?
I'm just sitting outside, the wind blowing.
Oh
Just
yeah.
sitting
Mm.
outside doing the
Little
wind.
chill. Is it warm where you are?
Yeah, warm day.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
That's
Go
good.
to, we had about polar weather. 1 minute
Mm.
it's warm, that minute cold.
Right. I was down there earlier this year. I already know. All right. Thank you, Miss Parisha, for showing up today. Didn't get all the ladies or that many ladies. Last week it was just Ortacia. So this week is just you. I'm hoping to get us more back on Wednesday coming next week. Um and see how we do. I'm trying to find a day where more of us can come. I know everybody's life is picking up right now because of the holidays, so I might just cease until after the new year, maybe, maybe. However, I know it's drama kind of get crazy with the family more on holidays, so I feel like I don't necessarily want to take that from you guys, because with the jazz of the family, there are going to come some very important either internal lessons or external lessons or even both. Um, Once you have this newfound wisdom and awareness and experience certain relatives again too. Um, but that's all. Thank you for coming to Transparency. I am Ty, owner and founder of Chrysalis Crystal Aura that hosts this event. This is Transparency for Black women, and then we have Transparency for Black men, and then soon we will join the men and the women together and see how that goes. We're going to give that a good go ahead eventually down the line. However, that will be when the holidays are through, possibly, possibly, possibly. Don't quote me on that. We might do it a little bit sooner, not too much sooner. Um, but that is all for today. And if you wish to like, share, subscribe for YouTube, like, share, follow for Facebook, feel free to reach out on Facebook if you would like to join one of these meets and you think it's for you. And I will put the links in the description. And you guys have a wonderful day. Meri Mkanu, love within, love inside. Hotep Mkanu, peace within, peace inside. Uja Mkanu, prosperity within, prosperity inside. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming. Bye bye. Did you have anything you want to say before we go? Lastly, for closing out? Okay. Nope. Cool.